Simply not simple. I don't know what depression feels like. I picture it as a twisting and a turning, an intermittent strife. Like a shower of bullets, perhaps a raining parade of bad days, or a feeling of this simply couldn't, can't, shouldn't be happening to me. Why to me? I'd rather be free. That was the first impression of the meaning of the word depression, the final answer to my question, what else could it mean other than a deep recession? The closest distance between two people is a story. After making some friends, I found a common allegory. People are sad. It might sound bad, but people are just so sad. It most likely stems from something like a problem with a dad, or a situation that was out of control, something that made them mad time and time again until it just turned sad, or something like a comrade turning on them. But all these dead flowers come from the same stem. I've learned that these are just the roots to the beginning of the end. The end, what a time of uncertainty. Certainly it will come, but when? When the time is right is the answer from some. When you lose the next fight, the end could be the outcome, but giving meaning to why we go has a way of working the world into ebbs and flows. A network of coincidences is crystallized into a spider web of truths and lies. Lies are all they see through the kaleidoscope of what people feed their children. People wonder why they always seem to give in and die. A toy consisting of tiny mirrors and pieces of colored paper is stolen from their children at a young age. Logic is an eraser forcing them to foster rage, a child raising a demon running mile after mile with this thing they have to feed. It grows larger and darker and eventually bites the hand that feeds them. Another petal falling from the stem. Observation of body language is very helpful. The image of a person who never sleeps is typical. Messy hair, don't care, right? T-shirt slogans don't really mean anything. But have you ever asked the girl with the T-shirt slogan how she's doing? You're in class with her. She laughs everything off like she's the happy-go-lucky poster child, but you don't know her soul is screaming because she feels like an exile. She is beaten every day, but all you see is a tired smile. Tired because how can she have time for sleep when all she hears is the deafening sound of her own weeps? She's closing her eyes in class when the teacher points to her seat and scolds her for not paying attention, assigning her yet another detention. The distance is short but still there. You don't know her story, so you don't care. Her petals are dying, but no one is aware. I don't know all, but I know what it feels like to fall, because heartbreak has a way of getting the best of us all. It's called heartbreak because it feels like someone is taking out your soul and stopping on it to later be replaced with the breath of stone cold. After the feeling of falling, we have a hard time loving again. Even when it's our true soulmate calling, salt rains down on us to heal the wounds of the past, but salt hurts when it falls into cuts fast, especially when we're the ones putting the slits there. We build walls around our soul to keep out the heartbreak, but what we forget to do is build a gate. We foster hate because we're afraid that love will tear us apart, that it will be the end, our fate. More petals dying every day. I watch the boy in the window through a glass frame. I see blue eyes filled to the brim with pain. I want to ask him how his soul is doing, but I'm too afraid because I know what depression looks like. His lips can't take any more talking. He wants to get up and start walking away, but he can't because he can't find it inside him to leave the glass frame because it's bulletproof, and he's too afraid that love will tear me apart. He feels like an anchor tied to the ankle of everyone who knows the story. He doesn't want the pity or the glory. He wants to be alone to deal with it himself. Along with blue eyes, I see dead petals drying on a shelf. Rejection never feels good, I'll tell you, but what feels worse is when it's for a cause you can't help. It feels like slipping in a glass shoe you know is going to break, because once you take the first step in trying to help, it comes back to bite you like a snake. And the poison doesn't immediately kill you. Death comes to mind for a while and you don't do anything. Why would you try to help yourself when you have nothing to live for? Why not drown in the poison of the world? Everyone else is fighting their own serpents. They don't have time to save you. They have to worry about breaking their own glass shoes. Sometimes I look over my shoulder at my people who are running from the devil and wonder how their souls are doing. If they're running towards their steeples, I'm trapped in my own glass frame, but I built a gate to let out the hate. Now I ask my people to know if they're at peace or in pain. I don't want their petals to die on a windowsill in vain, with their hearts afraid of love and their minds living enchained. I've started to gather a different view of what it means to be depressed. I see it more now that I know what it looks like. It can be beautiful on the outside, but once you close the distance between you and someone who's oppressed, when they tell you their story, that's when you find out you should have been praising them all this time with open arms and glory. I don't know what depression feels like, but I bet it goes something like not eating for an entire weekend, rather staying in bed for the season, never finding the strength or having a reason to live, because living is hard work and people don't have time to lend a hand. They have their own demons knocking down their doors, filling their mouths with sand, but depression must feel worse than that. It must feel like falling down floor after floor and never really reaching anything, a bottomless pit of darkness, and once in a while, if you're lucky, you'll meet a friendly stranger who wears a smile. But then they'll keep walking because the kaleidoscope was taken from them as a child. The walls are built higher because people are not something to be relied on. They're all pawns on the chessboard called the universe. And it's simply not simple. To get better, sometimes we have to get worse.